Who's on speed dial? None other than all the former ex-Obama folks, one of which would be this guy right here. He was pretty high up in the Obama campaign, David Plouffe running it. I want you to take a look here because he's one of the people, Axelrod's doing his part too, kind of leading the charge. This is the surrogate, if you would, for Barack Obama. And the Obamas know that Joe cannot win. So they're freaking out and they're trying to make some changes behind the scenes. Not easy to do. I don't know if it'll go over well, but David Plouffe kind of calling it like it is. Let's watch.
There were national polls that showed us tied with Romney, some even down, but we knew reliably we had a small advantage in the battleground states. That's where the race is right now. Can Joe Biden overcome that? I think he can, but we should be honest about where we are, which is without more voters saying, actually, I think he's up for this, we won't win. That's my humble opinion.
Yeah, I think it's so important to be honest about where we are and honest about the fact that there are real discussions, important discussions that people are having out there. And it's important.
Okay. So having real discussions, but where does it get you? If he's not willing, it gets you nowhere. It gets you more problems. But that will not stop the Obama people from trying to make this happen. Again, remember what we saw the other night. Drew, let's go back to that clip. Let's talk through it here because Obama was escorting Joe Biden off the stage. And it was very clear. Let's just throw it up. I'll keep talking over it, Joe, but Drew. But let's look at Joe struggling to get off stage. And he can't, right? He can't. Obama's leading him, trying. And it's not happening. I mean, it is so clear to everyone, including the Obama family, that this guy has his problems for sure. And then Michelle Obama, well, she's certainly not lost any love for Joe herself. There was an article recently, take a look at this, in Axios. I told you about it last week. Former First Lady Michelle Obama privately has expressed frustration over how the Obama family, Biden family, forgive me, largely exiled her close friend Kathleen Buell after Buell's messy divorce from Hunter Biden. I mean, didn't he run around on her with, sorry to say, the widow of his brother? I mean, what a guy, right? What a guy. And apparently the family was not very nice about it. So Michelle's like, I'm kind of done with them. Well, Barack Obama's kind of done with them too. I mean, not just because of what happened in Los Angeles, but if you think back over time, historically, these two have not had the best relationship. In fact, one of the infamous quotes from Biden was, "Do not underestimate Joe's ability to F things up." It's one of the reasons why he went with Clinton over Joe Biden, who was his vice president, right? The normal progression would be for the vice president then to run. But he knew that Joe couldn't. And he also didn't actually like that he had come out and prevented any of his top people from having family members that were on the gravy train in various countries, like Ukraine. Because you see, Joe Biden was in charge of Ukraine policy. Therefore, it's kind of inappropriate if the son is on the board of Burisma, which is one of the companies that the prosecutor that Joe made sure was fired. You know the whole drill, right? We still don't have the right answers there. Well, he didn't want that happening. So there's always been this tension. And now Michelle Obama is piling on. She doesn't like Biden or Jill. We come back, you see, full circle to Lady Macbeth, if you would. I mean, wow. You know, it didn't end well for Lady Macbeth, Jill. I'll give you that warning. You know, Dr. Jill, you're going to have a stronger constitution because you're not going to be able to allow this to get you. I mean, it would get to me. It would get to anybody. To think that you're doing this to your husband right now at a time when he actually needs you to help look out for him and his legacy. And yet she's out there looking out for herself and for her own power. That's how I see it. And I think that's how most of the world sees it at this point in time. We're just kind of in disbelief. But now we know. We thought Barack Obama was running the country. He still sort of is, right? On the sidelines. Except that. Big problem. Jill is in charge of Joe, and she's the gatekeeper. It's kind of like Edith Wilson. When Woodrow Wilson was president, he suffered a stroke, and then he still had some 3 years left in the Oval Office. And so Edith was effectively de facto president. She controlled everything. Who he saw, she was controlling the decisions. He couldn't do it, so the wife stepped in. Now, I mean, maybe it was a different time. You didn't have the media reporting on all the problems that the president was having back then. But I'll tell you, this is not good. This is not good for the country. It's not good for Joe Biden. It's not good for the Democrats. And ultimately, it's not going to be good for Dr. Jill herself.